Sawadee good morning and welcome to Newsline. I'm Cholapansa Narula. Thank you very much for joining us. It's Monday's edition, June 13th of 2016. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Beginning with our Thailand Moves Forward segment, the Prime Minister has given a strong assurance that the National Council for Peace and Order will not rescind the nationwide public referendum. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has assured all sides that the government and the NCPO have no intention of rescinding the referendum, which is scheduled for August 7th. The Prime Minister also declined to make any comments on the proceedings of the Constitutional Court set to interpret Section 61, Paragraph 2 of the Public Referendum Act, but said that the court's decision will not postpone the referendum. The Constitutional Court has been asked to interpret whether the section is in violation of the interim charter. He also denied a rumor that organizing the referendum will require up to 10 billion baht, saying no more than 3 billion baht will be spent throughout the entire referendum process. The Prime Minister has urged law enforcement officers across the country to implement a serious crackdown on football gambling during the Euro 2016 tournament. According to the government spokesperson, Major General Sansern Kao Kamnert, a large sum of money is projected to circulate in the local economy between June 11th and July 10th, largely because of the football prediction for upcoming matches in Euro 2016. Major General Sansern said that Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has expressed his concern that more people, especially students, will become addicted to gambling. He added that the Prime Minister is aware that the gambling legislation is not an effective solution for this problem, but it must be implemented to stop gamblers. General Prayut also called for social measures to prevent the uptake of gambling, saying this would be the most powerful way to deal with the rise in gambling. He urged parents as well as teachers to closely monitor their children's and students' behavior, while friends and members of the press should warn the community about the undesirable effects of gambling. Nevertheless, the Prime Minister said that law enforcement officers will have to seriously tackle gambling, which is illegal in Thailand. The National Legislative Assembly, or NLA, is scheduled to convene more meetings to discuss various agendas, including the approval of a new Secretary General of the National Anti-Corruption Commission, or NACC. NLA President Pornphet Wichit Cholachai has issued an order calling on members of the legislature to join meetings on June 16th and 17th, when a number of issues will be tabled for deliberation. The 2 days will deliberate 6 bills, namely the draft amendment of the 1913 Act on Navigation in Thai waters, the draft amendment of the 1992 Securities and Exchange Act, the draft law on the setting up of an anti-corruption court, the draft amendment of the 1997 National Metrology System Development Act, the 1998 Sanatorium Act, and the draft amendment of the Criminal Code. The NLA will also be considering the nominee of the NACC Secretary General and asking the Prime Minister questions about measures to solve the problems of children's abrupt departure from non-formal education and about the government's policies related to the collection of deposit fees and also electricity bills. An ad hoc committee of the National Reform Steering Assembly has proposed the use of a 70-30 system for the promotion of senior police officers in order to promote civil servants who are capable and morale. The committee's spokesperson, Kamnusiti Saman, said the Assembly's meeting today will consider a report on the standards of appointment and transfer of police officers to prevent political interference. The report is part of police reform, one of the 9 important reforms driven by the Assembly. The committee proposed that at least 70% of the vacant posts be given to qualified officers ranging in rank from inspector to commander based on their seniority and qualifications. The remaining 30% cannot be based on seniority but approval from the Police Commission. As for the appointment for Commissioner General, the committee proposed that it be based on the police's seniority list, since the list takes into account both seniority and qualifications. The Election Commission is satisfied with the outcome of the first regional level forum aimed at explaining the new draft charter. The Election Commission recently organized its first regional forum, which was entitled The Draft Constitution, the Public Referendum and the People in Nakhon Si Thammarat Province. The forum saw the participation of local politicians, academics, political lobbies and social groups from 14 southern provinces. Deputy Prime Minister Wisnu Krungam said that he is aware that there are both proponents and opponents of the draft charter. He asked all parties to be patient and agree to share opinions with others who think differently. Meanwhile, Election Commissioner Somchai Sisuthiyakon said the forum has been a success as a model for the upcoming events, which will take place in Chiang Mai and Nakhon Ratchasima provinces. Mr. Somchai also declined to comment on the Constitutional Court's ongoing review of the Public Referendum Act, saying the matter falls within the court's jurisdiction. Turning to our next story, the Ministry of Social Development and Human Security is determined to elevate the quality of life for people residing along canals. Permanent Secretary for Social Development and Human Security Maitri Intusut said that he recently visited the Klong Lat Prao Pracha Utit community, one of the neighborhoods of the Klong Lat Prao community. His visit was to follow up on the development project underway there and to offer assurance that the government will help residents with their relocation. The Klong Lat Prao Pracha Utit community is due for demolition by July. Its residents are set for relocation processing until the end of the year. Mr. Maitri said that he is satisfied with the progress of the project, which has taken place in 4 of the 12 planned areas. The ministry has tried to solve the problem of encroachment along canals by helping the affected low-income earners move into new residences. He went on to say that the ministry's plan to construct high walls along Bangkok canals is now in the feasibility study phase for each location. Once a conclusion is derived, the Ministry of Interior will be invited to a discussion to sort out the legal ramifications. The Ministry of Public Health warns against the consumption of undercooked pork due to the risk of bacterial contamination. Deputy Permanent Secretary of the Public Health Ministry, Suwanchai Wattana Yingjaranchai, said people who like eating food made with raw or undercooked pork are more likely to have a Streptococcus suis infection, which can cause permanent deafness. From January 1st to June 3rd, a total of 122 people in 19 provinces, mostly in the north and northeast, were infected with the bacteria, of which 8 have died from the disease. According to Dr. Suwanchai, Streptococcus suis can damage internal organs, the nervous system, cerebral cortex, and the heart. Deafness caused by the bacteria is likely to remain permanent. People who risk being infected with the bacteria are those who have direct contact with infected pigs. Alcoholics and people with congenital diseases are more susceptible to have severe symptoms if infected. Dr. Suwanchai added that the disease can be cured and suggested patients to immediately seek medical treatments. The security sector in the southern border provinces have beefed up crime prevention measures to facilitate the peaceful activities of Thai Muslims throughout Ramadan. Colonel Pramod Prom-in, spokesperson of the Internal Security Operations Command Region 4, said the military had taken measures to assist with the observance of the holy month. A ban on lighting firecrackers has been imposed on all residents during the fasting month. Officials have also prepared essential items for those completing the daytime fast. The Sheikhul Islam office declared Tuesday, June 7th to be the start of Ramadan after poor lunar visibility on Sunday, June 5th. The Minister of Commerce has suggested that Thai farmers adjust to the current market and strengthen their powers of negotiation. Commerce Minister Apiradi Tantraporn, along with ministry officials, has travelled to Trat province where she met a group of local fruit producers. She asked the producers to adopt new farming techniques in order to increase the quality of their fruit, which will in turn improve their competitiveness and negotiating ability in the international market. Due to the recent drought crisis, prices of many fruit varieties in Thrad have gone up slightly, although the production has not been as abundant as it used to be. The average price of mangosteens in the area has moved up from 80 baht to 115 baht per kilogram, while prices of other fruit have been fluctuating in line with the current market situation. OTOP Mid-Year 2016, one of Thailand's biggest events, is currently taking place at Impact, Mueang Thong Thani. A large number of people have been flocking to Impact Mueang Thong Thani to shop for quality products locally made in all corners of the country. The fair is being held on the theme Thailand's Variety in One Place and will go on until the evening of June 13th. The fair has three main objectives, which are to support local producers and businesses, further the development and standards of OTOP products, and penetrate new markets. A total of 2,500 selected stores from across the nation are being represented at the fair, all offering special prices and promotions on their products. Masterpiece and premium goods as well as rare products are the highlights of this year's event. Other features include health and environmentally friendly products, sponsored by the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment. Doors will be open until 9 p.m. tonight. Meanwhile, people have been continuing to flock at the Khlong Pradung Krung Kasem market, where the government has organized a special event to promote the country's tourism and economy. In the second week of the event, which is entitled Khlong Pradung Market, Pleasure of Travel, Healthy from Sports, Advancing the Economy, and Unity of the Civil State, the focus has been the promotion of travel experiences in Thailand's central, eastern, and western regions. Throngs of people have continued to arrive to check out the many attractive holiday packages made available by tour companies and hotels. Among the highlights of the event was a 10% discount on Nakhon Chai Air bus services and a promotional game that will allow lucky shoppers to buy domestic air tickets, make room reservations at luxury hotels, or buy quality items for 70 baht. The market fair, which is located next to the government house, opens daily from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. until June 24th. Agriculturists believe the price of durian will soar this year as a result of the prolonged dry season in many areas. Durian growers in Yala said the severe drought has pushed up prices of durian due to low productivity. However, consumers can enjoy eating durian throughout the year, as the dry season has extended the fruit-bearing period of the spiky fruit. Chemical-free durians have seen an increasing demand in the past decade. A grower of organic durian said this week he used water from a mountain stream and green manure to nurture his durian trees. His regular customers are from all regions of the country. Meanwhile, in Yala, the first batch of durians will be available in July. And that's it for Thailand Moves Forward. We'll now take a quick look at the exchange rates and commodity prices. Newsline will be back with ASEAN and beyond. Stay with us.
Don't trust anyone who says, "Trust me." Who's ever earned your trust? I have a friend. He's Thai. He leads a simple life. He finds joy in simple pleasures. He's sincere. He takes to heart the Buddhism belief of using reason and doing good. He follows the King's sufficiency economy theory that advises self-reliance, living without greed and being content with what you have. He shares with others, He takes care of his foreign friends like they're part of his family, and when he's upset, he compromises. He smiles even when faced with obstacles. If you're looking for a friend, what kind of friend would you like? A friend who's ready to lend a hand. A friend that you can be yourself. A friend who smiles at you with sincerity. Trust me. Trust Thailand.
Don't keep your creativity to yourself. Set your imagination free and share it with the world. Calling all college students across the nation. Join NBT World's Young Animator Contest. Create your own animation in English on the theme Trust in Thailand that reflects the Thai identity and promotes a favorable image of Thailand to the world. Submit your animated video no longer than 3 minutes by June 30th to win scholarship prizes totaling 200,000 baht. For more information, visit thainews.prd.go.th/en. Take the chance to demonstrate your talent. The time starts now.
Hello there, welcome back to Newsline. There is so much to love about Thailand, but if the land of smiles is famous for just one thing around the world, it's food. Malaysians are spoiled for choice when it comes to authentic Thai fare in their hometown. And our correspondent, Kun Tharin Angsakun, reports from Kuala Lumpur.
The global popularity of Thai food skyrocketed in the last few decades, and Malaysia, Thailand's southern neighbor, has been a clear example of this culinary boom.
We apologize for the technical difficulties there. Let's move on to another story. Participants in the Los Angeles area Gay Pride Parade honored victims after a man armed with an assault rifle killed 50 people at a packed gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida, in the worst mass shooting in U.S. history. Authorities said a heavily armed man who said he was heading to LA Pride Parade was arrested early on Sunday in nearby Santa Monica, where there was no apparent link with a deadly mass shooting in Florida. What compelled 29-year-old Omar Martin to kill people at Orlando's Pulse nightclub in the early hours of Sunday in the deadliest shooting spree in U.S. history is still being investigated. However, the killer's father told NBC News his son had become angry after seeing two men kissing in Miami recently. The lone gunman killed 50 people and wounded 53 others in the Florida massacre, the deadliest outburst of gun violence in U.S. history. Martin himself was shot to death by police. Saeed Shafiq Rahman, the imam of the Florida mosque that Martin attended for nearly 10 years, described him as a soft-spoken man who would visit regularly but rarely interact with the congregation. The tragedy had left the local Muslim community fearful. Rahman said he planned to add extra security to the mosque and brighter lighting to help reassure followers that they were safe amid fears of a public backlash against Muslims. The English Football Association Chief Executive Martin Glenn has said that the violence between Russian and English fans at the end of their Euro 2016 match was the worst he had seen for decades. European soccer's governing body, UEFA, launched a disciplinary proceeding against the Russian Football Union after its fans assaulted English counterparts at the end of the Euro 2016 match in Marseille. Moments after the final whistle in the Stade Velodrome, masked Russian supporters charged at England fans, punching and kicking them. Some England fans had to scramble over barriers to escape. UEFA said it was also investigating allegations of racist behavior, the throwing of missiles and use of fireworks. Russian Sports Minister Vitaly Mutko, who had initially denied that there had been any crowd disturbance, said UEFA was right to investigate. The violence in the stadium followed 3 days of ugly skirmishes between English, Russian and French fans in Marseille, which drew a tough response from riot police. UEFA has threatened to disqualify England and Russia from Euro 2016 if there is any further violence by fans. Pilots at Swedish airline SAS continued their strike after wage talks broke down on Friday, affecting thousands of passengers as scores of domestic and European flights were cancelled. According to the Swedish Pilots Union, pilots who are members of the union working on short-haul flights with their home base at Stockholm's Arlanda Airport are on strike. Talks between SAS management and the Swedish Pilots Union, who have been negotiating a wage review and changes to holiday and part-time work rules since April, broke down on Friday. Around 400 SAS staff went on strike immediately. If no deal is reached over the weekend, Swedish soccer fans bound for their soccer team's opener at the Euro 2016 tournament today may be affected. "10,000 guests braved rain to take part in a giant street party in front of Buckingham Palace to celebrate the official 90th birthday of Queen Elizabeth II, Britain's longest reigning monarch. Hundreds of tables lined the mall, the Grand Avenue leading to the palace, for the patrons' lunch, which saw representatives of the more than 600 charities and other organizations. Queen Elizabeth turned 90 in April, but in keeping with tradition, also has an official birthday to ensure celebrations take place in the summer. The Queen and her husband of 68 years, Prince Philip, were then driven down the mall in an open-top car, waving at the crowds who sang happy birthday to her, with Prince Harry and the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge in a separate car behind them. Long live the Queen of England. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. Thank you very much for joining us. If you do have any suggestions or comments, please write to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You could also follow us on Facebook. Just type in NNT in the search box and you'll find out more about Newsline and other news as well, or our website thainews.prd.go.th/en. It's time to say goodbye now, and we end the program with some pictures of Wales' national colours lighting up the Eiffel Tower after winning their opening match. I'm Chalapansan Rula. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope to see you tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on Newsline. Sawasdee ka.